It is CDB here, and we're doing something a little different tonight. We are doing our kicking back here uh, from the home office as usual, but we're doing it here at 6 o'clock at night. We had some changes this afternoon, so we figured we would change it up, and I am so low this evening. We got EJ and Jeffrey are working. We have Dell downstairs resting. And I am here talking with you tonight about anything. Well, oh no, maybe I shouldn't say anything. I'm not sure about that. But we are here to chat about anything you would like to talk about on this week's Kicking Back, which, as you know, we usually have a special guest. I guess I'm the special guest tonight. Um, and we talk about a bunch of different subjects. And there's been a lot going on, so I am going to start tonight by this. Thank you for everyone who has sent texts to myself, to Dell today. Over the next couple of weeks, as we mentioned, he will have a few procedures done to repair his jaw. And again, I did not hit him, and he told me to say that tonight. Um, but the first procedure was today, and everything went well. So we are moving forward, and the biggest procedure starts on Monday. So I'll keep everybody posted on our kicking back next week. And mentioning next week, the guest will be live, one of my favorites. And I can't even tell you everything we will cover in this conversation with this gentleman, but it will be Gold Coach Del Warren from the Kegel Training Facility in Lake Wales, Florida. And I have known Del many a year, so make sure that you check in next week with us. And we're going to talk coaching, tour repping, specto, coaching international teams, you name it. We're going to talk lane patterns. We're going to talk topography, a whole bunch of stuff. So join us too next week with Del Warren. So let's see. We got some stuff in the chat. So hi CDB. Hello. How are you? Doing well, Travis there. And we got Wayne and Diana. Diana, are you down at City View right now? I'm expecting her to answer because I'm sure she's at the pro shop down at City View Lanes. Make sure to check out Diana. She is always down at City View. If she is not working in the shop, she is practicing on the Ballard's Bowling Academy lanes that Josh Modello has graciously helped us produce, and it's got Specto on it, so she's always working on her game. A lot of our youth kids are down there working on their game too. So when are we bowling pot games for ice cream? That was our joke because Diane and I wanted to bowl pot games. The kids wanted to bowl matches, so we told them they could only bowl for ice cream, and that Diane and I could decide what we were going to bowl for after everything was said and done. But that is funny. Maybe next week. Maybe next week. And yes, she's at City View. So let's talk some bowling. All right. I know. Everybody is. I got text messages before I got on, and everybody's bummed about new rules that are being put in place, and some events are being canceled, and the whole hubla of everything going on. And I'm tired of talking about that. Trying to stay as positive as possible. But we do have some great things. We had all of our Ballard's Bowling Academy kids and all of the kids in the Dallas Fort Worth area bowl great at state tournament. So that was wonderful to see out of our youth bowlers. I know a bunch of them are gearing up to head to the SYC in Nashville, Tennessee next weekend. Fingers crossed that nothing strange in Texas will happen so that everybody can get to Nashville. I don't know. It's 2020. It's kind of a flip of the coin, right? So that's kind of cool. But in talking with the kids, I do a youth chat on a Sunday nights, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this sentence, because this is one of the sentences that I brought forth to the kids, and it said, they were talking about being mentally tough and working on their mental game. And it's the same thing, start a tournament, first couple games are good, they transition, not so good, and they just think too far ahead. They get lost in the moment. They're not staying in that moment. They get lost in the moment because they're thinking ahead. So one of the things I said to them was, and I have my little cheat sheet here because I write everything down. I'm always taking notes. Um, you either win or you learn from your performance. And I love this saying because I know we all want to win. I know we do. But you can only have one winner, right? I mean, unfortunately, and we can't win every time. It just doesn't happen like that. So I really try to instill in them that there is only one winner, but take something positive from that experience so that the next time you see that type of arena or that you feel that type of feeling again, you have learned something and you will make a different decision. And hopefully that decision will help you reach your goal. And maybe you'll be in the winner's circle that time. So I absolutely love that. And I love the mental stuff. Like I've been really working a lot on that, like just trying to get stuff together for something that I'm working on. And I'm engrossed in a lot of goal setting and mental preparation. And one key word, um, things that spark you to go in a different direction, because I think everybody has a dream. I think everybody has a passion. It just takes some people a little longer to find out what that passion is. And I think certain words, and sometimes it's just one word, kind of spark you and go, oh my God, wow. It's like a light bulb. It's like, I'm going in that direction because that's where I want to be. And I think that's kind of cool. All right, let's see. Wayne. Hi, Wayne Shank. I know you. What's your take on the Wild Streak? Well, Wild Streak, Rotogrip Ball. I am a member of the Rotogrip Pro staff, so thank you to Rotogrip for hanging with me. I'm very grateful. I like the Wild Streak. It was kind of it was a little different for me because I thought it was going to be a little bit cleaner. And once I put a little surface on the Wild Streak, it actually read read sooner than I thought it would. And it actually forced me to open up my angles a little bit. So it was a little bit different, but the surface change on that ball was really good. So I didn't use it a lot, but I did think it was a versatile ball. And I know there have been geez, I think today alone, I saw 3 people win a tournament with the Wild Streak. So again, we have a lot of balls in the line. I actually have an arsenal that I have been starting to build, as you're mentioning the Wild Streak. Some of them are the new balls, some of them are older, but I am starting to fill in some gaps. And as the new balls come out, I'm trying to put them in where I believe they will fit. And we're going to go from there. So that's kind of my take on the Wild Streak. Didn't throw it as much as I did a whole bunch of other balls like halos and hustles. Um, so by the nuclear cell. So, I definitely had more play with all of those and have practiced more with them. So I actually know where they fit in my line better. When are you going to wear a wristband? That's Diana, and I'm not answering that question. So I don't know, Diana, maybe next week. I was telling Diana years ago when I was on the original tour, the original PWBA, someone had said, hey, why don't you try a wrist device? I'm like, okay, what the heck, I'll put it on. And I know you're supposed to have your span done, but I didn't know if I was going to wear it all the time. And I put the wrist device on, and as my ball went back into my backswing, my ball fell off my hand. So I tried it one more time, and my ball fell off my hand, and I went, oh my God, I can't hold on to the ball. So I really never used one again. I did a Robbie's there for a while, or a Wristmaster, just something that covered this part. I can see the side. Ooh, go back this way. Ooh, puppets. Just right here. I like the smaller one because one thing that may not be as good now as the game has changed, but when I was in my prime and bowling on the PWBA, I made a lot of foul line adjustments. I was a little more of a feel player on that fact. So I liked the idea of being able to move this part of my hand a little bit more. And I thought sometimes the wrist device, I'm just going to move this down just a little bit, um, held me back from doing that. And I lost my feel a little bit. But again, I'm not against them. I think they're a great training tool, and especially for people who have injuries. And there are people out there that are very successful that wear them. Stephanie Johnson, Shannon O'Keefe. So again, there are so many tools out there you can use to enhance your game. So make sure to check them out, and don't forget to ask your local pro shop. Okay, I got another question. Okay, Travis, I have trouble with my release. I have been bowling a while, but the whole hook business comes hard for me because people always tell me to let the ball do the work. I think that means, but the whole hook business comes hard. Okay, so I'm taking it that you find it a little difficult to hook the ball. Well, there are different drills you can do. And I did not bring it in here to the office today, but some of the tools that we've been using are what Rick Benoit and Bowl U use. They have an orb. Okay, number one is an orb, and it actually teaches you a feel. And I'm going to go this way again. And I'm going to use this lovely bottle of water that's sitting back here. So I'm going to show this to you a little bit. It's not exactly the way, I mean, I wish I had the orb. It is downstairs. I'll see if I can get somebody to run it up to me. But one thing I like about the orb is it puts the two fingers in the middle on the white, and I'm gonna have somebody bring it up so I can show it to you a little later. But basically, what it trains you to do is just roll the ball off your fingers, right? No muscle and no grab with the thumb, right? Why do two-handers have such a high rev rate? Simple answer: no thumb in the ball, right? So the last thing you want to do, Travis, is really grab it with your thumb. You want to really learn how to roll it off your fingers, okay? And also really work on making sure that throughout your swing, your hand isn't really doing anything funky. I mean, one of the people that I think was the best, Amaletto, used to open up his hand and then he would just come on down and it would get in such a good position, and then he could just let it fly off his hand. But one of the things that I think is the most important, instead of getting into how do you hook it more, is making sure you want to work on productive ball roll. Sometimes you're only going to hook it so much. I mean, naturally, I am not going to throw it like Diana or Daria. I'm just not. But what I can work on is making sure what I do is productive ball roll and I can repeat it. So one of the things I want you to try to do is, like I said, with the bottle or an orb or something like an orb, and I will show you that here before we get off tonight, is just learning to really just let everything roll off those fingers. And with the orb and the other device I will show you, the brick, you're basically just going to, your wrist is firm, okay? I am not grabbing it with my thumb. As you can see, my thumb is over on the side. It's all about the palm, the feel, and then it just rolls right off your fingers. That's how a ball should feel. It shouldn't feel like this. And I know I'm over exaggerating, but I'm on Facebook Live. I can do whatever I want. So I hope that helps. I also think there are a lot of drills. I know that the ITRC, I know that Kegel training, all have some really good drills. The best way that Del Ballard, my husband, has me try to feel my fingers, because sometimes I'm so up the back of it, I lose my feel of just getting around it a little bit, is take an 8-pounder, put your fingers in it to the tips, get up to the line and do a one step and just roll that 8-pounder off your hand. Just roll that 8-pounder off your hand to get the feel of getting around it and feeling it, because I always want to be up the back of it. So it actually just gives me a little bit of a different feel. And it really does help, because when then you go to do your approach, you actually have that feel in your mind. So I hope that helped. You can check back on our Facebook page and our website too, because we're going to be posting a lot of drills and videos. So hopefully those will help you out later on. What is this? Any thoughts, CDB? So Travis, I just gave you. Hi, my bestie, Vicky. I told her she had to get on and say hi, and she did. I hope she's feeling better today. Wayne, when you practice, how often and how long? Well, when I was on tour and in my prime, I bowled every day. I bowled every day and I bowled for up to 3 hours. I was always a practicer ever since I was a youth bowler. High school, college, doesn't matter. Nobody had to tell me to practice. The reason being is I never felt like I was the most talented. So I felt like everything I did, I had to learn. So it was by repetition for me. Now, because life is quite different and there's a lot more going on, I have a 16-year-old beautiful daughter, Alyssa, that's involved in tennis and bowling. And Dell has a few procedures going on, so we, have to do that. I also work full time for Turbo. As you can see, my favorite hat because it actually fits. Um, so now I actually practice 3 days a week. And when I practice, this is something I was going to discuss tonight, I make sure that I already have a goal in mind. So my practices are all about having practice with a purpose, and it will be about quality. So I'm much bigger on if I only get to bowl an hour and a half, I want it to be a good quality hour or hour and a half. And right now I'm working on two things. I am working on quieting my shoulders, which I think you may have seen my video. I think I'm going to replay that on our Facebook page. My right shoulder tends to get in front of my left, which is how I close down and shut down because I am a straighter player. So I've really worked hard on keeping this right shoulder back and keeping the left in front a little bit longer. And actually, that allows my swing to drop a little more naturally. I tend to want to hold on to it just a little bit because I'm late. I always have been. I actually think I create some of my rotation by being a little late. When I try to get earlier, I lose the feel. So I have tried to, again, keep my right shoulder back a little bit and let my swing drop a little more naturally. And it does feel a little strange. I actually feel quicker, but I think I'm just more loose. And I've been working on quieting my left hip because on my, let's see, one, two, third step, I used to step way out to the left. So I've worked on kind of quieting that a little bit and not making the step as big. And I'm still getting my hip out of the way. So it seems okay. I don't know. I haven't been able to bowl a tournament. But again, practice with a purpose, even if it's 3 days, and make sure you have some goals in mind. I hope that helps. Tammy Jean Turner in the house. Hello, my sister from another mother. CDB in the house. Tammy Jean, I miss you. By the way, my Tammy Jean going to be 50 this year. We were going to have a big weekend in Florida, which has now been slightly postponed till we can all get together safely. So hopefully that will. I keep moving on my chair and my pillow got caught. Hopefully we can get together here before the end of the year, but we have not forgotten about Tammy Jean. It's time for one of those house parties, Tammy Jean. Dennis, my friend Dennis from Rockford, Illinois, still anxiously waiting for my question. What is comparable to hustle? You keep saying hustle rig, and I'm not RIG. I personally like the Hustle series in general, the new Hustle series that's out. And I thought I answered um, you comparing both balls, and I did a comparison on my fan page. There's a solid Hustle and a Pearl. And the solid is very mid-laney with a strong arcing motion. It really is, and it's continuous. Yet the Pearl allows me to get a little bit left. I can get that ball right, and it does recover. And much more than any of the other Hustle series. The Hustle Inc. was my favorite, and I think that's what you might be saying, Hustle Inc. Hustle Inc. was one of my favorite, but I do think that was a way smooth off the dry, where these two new balls definitely because of the cover being so different, allow you to play the lanes differently. So you have a good choice there. And one plays right off of the other. And before I even get to my solid hustle, I like my nuclear cell. So I have a nice succession of bowling balls. Hello, 50. Yay. Yeah, I'm with you, Tam. Do you have a type of ball that matches up to you better than others? Yes, Wayne, I definitely do. Um, I do like bowling balls that are a little bit cleaner in the front, and I do tend to gravitate towards symmetrical cores over ASIMs. Reason being is ASIMs to me sometimes tend to roll a little too soon, and I have a little bit of a problem getting them to continue. Uh, but what I can tell you is this: when I do have an asymmetrical ball in my hand, such as a nuclear cell, right? So if my UFO is getting a little bit too early and I feel I need another ball that's just a little cleaner, but not as clean as a hustle, right? I can go to my nuclear cell. What that also does for me is it blends out the pattern a little more. So I can move into the oil and still get it to the dry, and it's not as much of an overreaction as if I was probably using my hustle. And that's what I tend to like about pearl ASIMs is they really help me blend out a pattern before I have to take the step to a hustle or an emerald, something like that. So I hope that helps. Definitely, I'm definitely a symmetrical core girl. Although I will tell you, Chris Schlemmer, they try to get me into every A symbol there is, and we do try, and we play around a lot with covers, and some of them have worked really well. Pearl is blue, and I'm a man, so you like the blue bowling ball. They are actually, I think the color of the new bowling balls are nice. I do. I like it. I love the colors. So that, thanks for bringing that up though, Wayne. That's some good questions there. One really led to the other. Diana, I love Specto. Y'all. She put y'all. Should come try it at City View. Yes, Specto is definitely excellent. I am so glad that we were able to have that installed at Ballard's Bowling Academy, lanes down at City View. Josh was just rock solid on helping us get that set up. My friends at Kegel, I should say our friends, but I know it's me because I'm the one that calls all the time. I want to thank them for always being so helpful and just they were great with working with EJ when we were installing Specto. So thank you to all my friends down at Kegel. I truly appreciate it. And it does, Specto actually, you know what, I look at it both ways for different bowlers. So if you are a higher average bowler or a tournament bowler or thinking about going on tour or getting ready for college, I like Specto because I think it gives you a little bit of a different analogy of maybe what you think you're seeing, but what actually is happening once the ball leaves your hand. You know, it's the old saying, are you looking at your break point, excuse me, break point? Yes, my break point's 7-8, and then all of a sudden you look at Spectrum, and it's like, I'm not getting my ball right of 11. Hmm, that's a problem. You know, I mean, just something little like that. So then you know that's something maybe you need to work on, or you actually realize that you need to line up a little bit differently. I had a youth bowler last week. Very simple game, point A to point B, 5 steps. But again, I kept asking her at some point. I always ask, hey, what are you looking at or what are you trying to do? Just so that I understand, because I like to watch a few shots before saying something and then again, and then we video. She kept saying to me, I'm looking at 9. I'm looking at 9. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm going the opposite way. I'm looking at 6. I'm looking at 6. I said, you are? Okay, sure. No problem. She's hitting 9 at the arrows. She's going like 12 to 9. And she's looking at 6. So we played around a little bit about where she was standing on the approach, where was her lines? You know, where was her shoulder in line with? I mean, she was so straight, but she couldn't get her ball this way. I mean, so we needed to change her lines up a little bit. Also, we moved her around on the approach because As I have noticed, especially on a house shot, which she was bowling on at the time, with the house shot, all the kids want to start left and throw it right. And sometimes, believe it or not, depending on what bowling center you're in, the house shot could be tough. It's a little bit tighter. You got to move a little bit further right before you can make that jump in. Or they become a little bit where it's a lot of hook to the right, you have some oil to the left. Once we got her feet actually in a little bit of a different position and moved her a little bit further right, and she continued to look at six miraculously, it was like, oh my God, I never knew I was too far over. Because, I always felt like I was looking way over there, but I knew I was sitting over here. If you feel that, you're the bowler. You know that there isn't something that's lining up. So take a step back, ask for some help, go to your local pro shop, say, hey, do you think you could watch me throw a few shots? I mean, we love doing that at Watauga and City View. I mean, we're always there. Dell and I are in the bowling center, or EJ and Jeffrey are there, or Dennis or Caitlin. Somebody is there. Now we have Diana, who could come down and watch you throw a few shots. So always ask for advice because you're always learning. And sometimes it is super, super simple. I think we really try to make it a little bit harder than it really is. Good question. I like that. All right. Let's see what we got going now in the chat. Tammy Jean, you have any questions? Ooh. All right. Let's see. If you were bowling won the PBA, if you were bowling on the PBA for a title, who would you want to beat most? Well, I wouldn't be on the PBA because I've always been a big proponent on the fact of I am thankful that we are allowed to bowl the PBA, but I am truly, truly one of those that believe I want all the greatness for the PWBA because I think the men should have their tour and I think the women should have theirs. And I think they should bowl for the same amount of money. But that's a whole other subject and probably a whole other hour. Um, but hypothetically, if I was bowling on the PBA, who would I want to beat? Well, there's probably a few players that I would love to compete against, but this guy is one of my good friends. And I really do think because we're so competitive and so theatrical, I think it would be a good match, but it would probably be PDW. And he'd probably agree with you. So, so I'd say probably Pete. And if it was a newcomer, one of the new guys, Marshall Kent, because they're a lot alike, very competitive, very aggressive, and I love that about them. On the PWBA tour, nobody, they're all good. Let's see, on the PWBA tour, I would like to meet, if I had the chance, to meet probably I would still love to compete against one of my friends from the original tour. So it'd probably be Kelly or Liz. And if I had to pick a newer player, I think I think I would pick. Oh, let me get this off my screen. I think I might go with Arosia Restrepo. She's on Rotogrip staff. But again, I think for the same reason that I would choose Pete. I think she's fiery and um, intense. She's 1,000% in every shot she throws. Um, she takes it just, she lives and dies every shot, which is so cool because that's just how I was. So I think it would be Rocio or maybe Diana, right, Diana? She's still listening. So it's a good question. That's a really cool question, actually. Haha, Dennis. Tammy Jean, haha. Yes, any questions? Those are some good. I liked that. When we talk about the tours and the difference in the bowlers, times have changed. The game has changed. It continues to change. Um, I shouldn't even say the game. I really mean the bowlers. The styles change, the hook potential changes, equipment, lane patterns, you name it, right? Uh, but one of the greatest things about the sport is there's still that every decade, or if you want to say generation, has their stars, or um, just there's a variety. There's always a variety, and I love that, because one of the cool things about is bowling is for everybody. Don't ever let anyone tell you that you can't do it just because you don't throw the ball like a Marshall Kent or a Anthony Simonson. Just because you don't throw it like them doesn't it does not mean you're not going to be great. Or just because you don't throw it like Daria Payok or Diana doesn't mean you're going to be great. Well, you're going to be. I mean, Liz Johnson, she's the GOAT. I love her. She is a great friend of mine. And she's pretty straight, and she's pretty darn good. So, again, one key there is make sure you make your game as solid and as good as it can be. Make sure that you can repeat and you're a great spare shooter. And honestly, it doesn't matter how you throw the ball, you're going to be competitive. I don't care who you are, especially on tougher lane conditions like a USBC Queens or the US Open, both on the men's and the women's tour. Those tournaments tend to be a little bit more difficult. So you have to have a good mental game. You have to be able to repeat, and you definitely need to know how to spare. If you ask me for a friendly game, I'd run, I'd run, or I'd sit back and take notes. Why am I scary? I used to be in my day. I'm not so sure I'm as scary anymore. That's kind of funny though. You probably could take notes because I always have a lot to say, or I'm always talking about something. Does it matter to you what pattern you are bowling on? No, no. Patterns, the only thing I ever look at when I'm bowling a tournament, and if the pattern is posted, I look at the length and the volume. I really do. That's basically going to tell me, it's going to gauge a little bit as to what bowling balls I may want to start my practice with, maybe what surface I want to start with, and kind of progress either up or down. Other than that, I have never been one to get caught up in, oh, it's a short pattern. Oh, I'm going to do really great this week. Or, oh, great. It's a long pattern. They're dead flat in the front. I'm never going to be able to hook it. I've never, I never got caught up in that. I, it was about me throwing my ball, watching my ball motion, and making the best decisions I could make. And I've been part of some great teams in the fact of that we had some ball reps behind us that really, when we couldn't see it, they could see it for us. So that's pretty important when you have a team of ball reps behind you that actually know your game, they know you, and can give you some, not sometimes, okay, take that ball, stand here and throw there. I mean, that's not even what I'm talking about. More of, hey, what do you see? And they'll give you their idea, and they'll say, what do you see? And you give them a little feedback, and from there, maybe you meet in the middle. I don't know. But it's always nice to have a second set of eyes. But for me, basically, throw my ball, read my ball motion, and I will probably move on the lane, speed control a little bit, maybe change my hand a little, just see if it does something different. And then from there, if I don't like what I see, like I said, ball up, ball down, change some surface and go from there. But it really is all about you, the bowler. You are the one that's going to make the ultimate choice. I mean, anybody can tell you, A, what you want to hear, or tell you their advice, but you as the bowler, you're going to make the ultimate decision. Did they ask you if you wanted to coach or bowl on the PWB teams on PBA League? I was not asked. I am already the league manager for the Kingpins, so I have to remember my team now. So I have Pete Weber, Marshall Kent, Darren Tang, Kyle Sherman, and Oscu Palermo. The only one we lost from last year was BJ Moore, one of my favorites, another Rotogrip staffer and Turbo staffer. But no, I was not asked. I was already a manager, like I said. But If they decide next year the PWBA wants to have a team tournament, maybe they'll make it where you have to have somebody, let's just say over 40 on the team. But I love team tournaments. When our tour did bowl, we did a couple of team events or doubles events. One was all of the players. We did a team draft, and it was so much fun bowling with everybody. And we also bowled with the American Wheelchair Bowlers. Fantastic event. We've bowled with the PBA 50 Tour in a doubles, a mixed doubles, and of course we bowled the Merit mixed doubles, which was with the PBA bowlers. So we've bowled a lot of team events together with the pros, and always a great time and great crowds for those events. Uh-oh, here's one. What type of mental preparation do you do to handle bowling under pressure situations? Is the mental aspect of the game still as important as it was when you were dominating the tour? Now you could tell that's my friend. I do think that is probably more important than the physical game, especially now. A couple of reasons. I've asked Dr. Dean this question, and I think your mental outlook and how you feel about your game and what your confidence level is helps you to perform to the best of your ability. So I think that's how they go hand in hand. I also think some of the formats are now shorter, so it's a sprint. It's not. I was a thoroughbred. I was not a quarter horse. So I liked the longer formats. I got stronger as the week went on. So I think your mental preparation has to be different because I think it has to be quicker. I think your moves need to be quicker, and I think you need to process a little faster because you don't have 3, 4, 5 games or another 8 games the next day. It's 6 and 6, boom, cut, or 8 and 8, boom, cut. We're used to having another day. So you can go talk to your ball reps or go talk to your friends and go, yeah, I think I need to drill a ball. I should do this. And you kind of get a good night's sleep and process everything again, and you're fresh the next day. That doesn't happen now. So I think mental preparation in the mental game is probably more important in different ways because I truly believe the mental game uh, never got enough credit over the years. I think it gets more credit now because I think more people talk about it, especially because a lot of people have been on Team USA where they've done a lot of mental training. And you also notice that a lot of the international players and teams do do have a lot of mental training that they do while they practice. So I think it is a little different. And I will say I do think my mental outlook and my mental game were probably one of my stronger assets when I was bowling my best. What is your benchmark a ball from Storm and Rotogrip? Ooh, so many to choose from. Let me think. Well, I'm gonna go with Storm first. I think I'm still a phase 2 girl. Yeah, I love it. I think it's such a versatile ball. It just reads the lane fantastic. Um, I mean, I don't know anybody who didn't like a phase 2 or a phase 3. So I would say in the storm line right now, my phase 2. And in the roto grip line, it's going to be a little bit different. I'm actually going to go ASIM there. I love the UFO. I like the UFO a lot. So I do throw that out of my bag first. I usually have my UFO, my phase 2. I will have a phase 3 and my nuclear on the rack. From there, if I have to go to something with a little bit more length, I definitely have my um, hustle on the rack, of course. And that's probably my ball I will go to before Old Faithful, which is a Pearl High Road. I know, my gosh, who still doesn't have a high road, right? So I do have a Pearl High Road that I still have in my bag. Watched one of your practice videos. Are you working on getting on the side of the ball earlier or more? Well, it depends on what video, because I may have been. I am really still trying to work on just keeping my hand behind it and feeling it more off my fingers or my V. I tend to want to try to hook it, and when I try, not let it happen, when I try, I tend to turn it just a little bit early and get on the side of it a little bit. Um, when I do get on the side of it, if I'm a little bit later and get on the side of it, it's not so bad for me for whatever reason. But I am still trying to be up the back of it and just roll it off my hand a little bit more and working on when I work on just trying to get around it, I do simple adjustments. I don't do this whole my hands up here and down here and I don't I don't get into all that. I never have. So it's just minor adjustments where it's simple, up the back, want to get around it a little bit, little turn of the hand. And what I really do now is I try to keep it even more simple and try to repeat. And for some reason, if I'm not repeating, by looking at my ball motion, I can tell whether I'm repeating it off my hand or not, and or feel it. Then I make sure my next practice, that's what I work on. But right now, it's still just rolling through it because, again, I don't have any tournaments to really bowl right now because I can't travel. So just kind of trying to keep my hand firm and consistent with the feel. And then I gauge it by days. So this week I'm going to continue doing that. And then next week I will incorporate maybe trying to get around it a little bit more and repeat and see how many times I can get a good feel and a good read. And if I don't like what I'm saying, I just continue to work on that until I feel like it's consistent. Because for me, it's repeatability. When it's crunch time, 10th frame, title on the line, what do you think about or not think about that helps you perform? Very simple. I don't think about anything. A lot of mental training on that one. A lot of hours on the phone with Dr. Dean Hinnitz. Over the years, I don't think of anything. So I can make that nice and simple for you, Wayne. I take my ball off the rack. I wipe my ball off 4 times. I have my roto grip or turbo grip sack, depending on which. I like the kitty litter. I like the old ones. I will do my grip sack in my hand to dry off my hand. And while I am doing that, I pick something to stare at. And I'll never forget uh, one title I did win. The ball return had the old, like the pins on it, so you could show somebody, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the little triangle. That's the word I'm looking for, triangle. And for whatever reason, I picked up my ball, I'd wipe my ball, I'm playing with a grip sack, and I was just staring at that triangle before my shot. And I would get up on the approach and then I just go. The only thing I ever heard, the only thing I ever heard when I was on the approach is the shuffling of my feet. It's the greatest sound ever. You know how people say they smell the ice or they feel the ice? Shuffling of the bowling shoes on the approach when all is silent is the best sound ever. And that's all I ever heard. And that's exactly what I did before I had to get up to make a pressure shot. Besides breathe, by the way. I think that kind of goes without saying. Thank you, Wayne, for that question. A lot of the young players use drills for warm up, arm swing, release, etc. Tammy Jean, I like your questions. Do you do any drills and do you think they are effective? I think drills are effective. And I think they're effective because I believe they allow you to feel something that you may not be able to feel while you're actually trying to accomplish it. And what I mean, a great example, and I'm so glad, Tammy, that you asked this question. I want to throw it like Tammy Turner. Maybe in my next life, I don't know. I want to throw it like Tammy Turner. So for me to be able to get out of it that clean and just fan it like that, I mean, it's beautiful, okay? I would have to do that with a drill, which now I could do. I could learn how to get at it, get it off my fingers. The orb helps me learn how to do that. So I do think that drills are super important because when I start to grab it a little bit, I go back to just rolling the orb off my hand or dropping the brick, and it gives me a feel of nothing, just nothing. And when I go to the approach and I try my shots, all of a sudden I feel so much more loose. So I do think drills, off lane drills, help just as much as on lane drills. I do. Um, and I think they've become more popular in the fact of, again, shorter formats. You can't spend the first 10 minutes of your practice session really getting loose. You have to be loose. I mean, you got to be ready to go. I mean, 10, 15 minutes, but don't forget, it's the only day you're qualifying. You got 6 and 6 or 8 and 8. So you better be ready to go as soon as the lights come on. And for me now, especially, trust me, I am stretching. I am heat packing it and everything before I show up to the bowling center. So I make sure I am ready to go. And one of the things I really do when I go to a tournament is I will do my approach on the approach without the ball. Like while, the lanes aren't on yet, we haven't started practice. I'll go up there a couple times and just take my approach and just swing like crazy and get my legs going into the line because you do lose strength. Even as much as I work out and as much as I walk, you still lose strength because I'm aging, right? So I definitely make sure I do that before I start my competition. You also notice that a lot of the um, a lot of the international teams very, very big on the warm-ups. A lot of the college teams, that's all you see them do before the event, right? Out there doing jumping jacks, dynamic before, static after. So even for people that are, you know, getting up there in age. God, I hate that, but it is what it is. I'm going to try to fight it till the bitter end. But just a few jumping jacks, or even just in when you're standing, just move your legs up and down and get them going, and your arms. Anything to get that body moving, the blood flowing, will help warm up your body. And the more you warm up your body before you start, your risk of injury definitely goes down. But of course, don't forget when you are done, make sure to stretch out. I love that. What great questions. Wow, we're going in a lot of different directions here. I want to bring my stuff upstairs and I want to see if my friend can bring them up here. Let's see. Let's see. I'm saying, can you bring bag by door, right? Of orb. So I can show all of you what I was actually talking about earlier, and I said I was going to try to get it up here, but if not, I bought everything from Bowl U. I'm going to give them a plug. I did. I love it. They're great. The brick, there's a little ball that has the circle on it where you can see it as you're throwing it, as you're going up the back of it, or if you're learning to turn it, it goes the other way. Hand-eye coordination. There's a game you play. It's great. I love the off-lane objects now that you can really use to enhance your game. And I will tell you this, during the pandemic, or the still ongoing pandemic, I did a lot of the orb exercises and even just the brick, just dropping it and dropping it and dropping it so that when I got back on the lanes, I did not feel as grabby. So I think it does. I think it does help. So we are 10 to 7. Oh my God, I didn't think I was going to last an hour. I told everybody, oh, I think I'll be on for like 30 minutes tonight. But this was a little different this week. I have our big computer on too. This was a little different this week. Like I said, we had some things come up. Dell is going to have a few more procedures. I know I've discussed that a little bit. No need to know what all of them are. All we need to know is that all is going well, step by step. And in a week here, he'll have the first part first part of his new jaw, which I laugh saying that because how do you talk and just say, oh, somebody's gonna get a new jaw, right? And then a couple months after that, he'll have the second procedure to make it all brand new. So I will keep you posted on our podcasts weekly because I do have a lot of people, and I thank all of you again for reaching out to check on him. He truly appreciates it. As you know, he would love to be on here tonight, but he is resting. So he's going to kill me for saying that, I'm sure. But I want to thank everyone for joining me. This was a little different. We really had some great questions. We went in some good directions. I had a whole list of goodies I was going to talk about. I know people have brought up the new PWBA tour. I am truly looking forward to watching all those fantastic staffers of Turbo and Rotogrip just come 2021, just kick butt. I am looking forward to the PWBA players who were chosen for the two league teams. I think it's going to be a great asset to that league. I think it's going to bring a whole new perspective. As much as we think everyone knows about women's bowling, they do not. So I am thrilled that you will see women bowlers on TV because I think any bowling, especially when it includes women, is good bowling. So that's let's keep that as a positive. And hopefully, again, I have stated this before, in 2021, I hope there is a PWBA league of their own. There's our new name, League of Our Own. And the tour is back and better than before. Because, of course, I want to thank the PWBA and all of their committee, because myself, Carol Giannotti, and Pam Buckner will be going into the Hall of Fame this year / next year. So hopefully all of my friends and family can join. So that's excellent. And I think I am going to get ready to sign off. I'm going to double check. Oh, wait. I have one more question. Oh, yes. I can repeat shots on the Nintendo Wii. Yeah, well, can't we all? Although my kid's good at that. I am terrible. Awesome show. Oh, thank you, Wayne. Again, and don't forget, if you ever have any questions or things that you want to see or hear on our podcast, we're always looking for suggestions. We do get some, but I'm always collecting ideas. Please visit us, Ballard's Bowling Academy, on our Facebook page. Just leave us a message. You can also go to Carolyn Doran Ballard professional bowler page. I'm always checking my messages there. And for all of your bowling needs, and especially all of the needs from all of our great sponsors, we have Rotogrip, Storm, Logo Infusion, Turbo, Dexter, Ballard versus the Big C, which we're going to talk about really quickly before we go. Please check out ballardsbowlingacademy.com. We have some great new items up there. We got new t-shirts, we got some jerseys, and online lessons. So if you can't come to us, we can come to you. And we have not made our announcement about our Ballard versus the Big C event this year. We are waiting till maybe the first or second week in August. As you know, things are changing, and we are going to try very hard to make something happen. But as you know, that might be a little difficult, but we are coming up with some ideas. We do now have our 2020 Ballard versus the Big C jersey out with face masks and matching accessories. And you can go to logoinfusion.com to check that out. If you create an account at logoinfusion.com, you can use CDB as your coupon code. So help support a great cause. Ballard versus the Big C started in 2011. Yay! So that means, let's see, 2011, Dell, the event was in 2011. Dell was diagnosed in 2010. So 10 years, 10-year mark of cancer-free. So we trudge forward. Tina Taylor, her crew, Vicki Smith takes care of all the money. Carolyn is just told to go out and ask people for money and beg, and I do what I am told. So please check out our Facebook page on Ballard versus Big C. Make sure you like all those pages. We have some great information on there in case you are someone in need. Please let us know. Again, this is CDB. Thank you for joining me tonight. This was great. It was so nice to talk to some people that I actually know in the chat. And join us next week on Kicking Back. We will be at 11 a.m., I believe, and it will be Del Warren from Kegel and USBC Gold Coach. Fantastic fountain of knowledge. Join us next week, and don't forget, ballardsbowlingacademy.com. Thank you for everything. Have a great evening.